Howdy, chooms. We're back, and it's been a minute. I've been absolutely sick and unable to record anything. My voice hopefully sounds better, but we'll see. We're here for another exciting episode of Cyberpunk Solo Play. Yeah! Once again, as a reminder for those watching, maybe watching for the first time, we are doing single player mode. Working from that for most of our methodology, and we'll be referring to that as we go about. I'm going to try and shorten things a little bit and get done in one recording session. So I'm going to refer less to the book and in post add page numbers if they are important to what we're doing. Up top, just some housekeeping that we need to do for our game. We're on a new day, November 6th, 2045. Some notables that I was able to think of and do while I was sick. This new day means Hound takes the day to heal, gaining 4 hit points based off of her body stat. So she's out of the equation in terms of gameplay today. So unfortunately, we're not going to be using that sheet. Obsidian, if you'll recall, before he lost all his programs when he was hacking that architecture. And so he went to the night market and was lucky enough to be able to find a worm program and a sword for about €100, as well as buying an actual sword for €100. Worm, we have Worm, which increases all backdoor checks you make by 2 as long as this program remains rezzed. So that's some of Obsidian's programming. Let's put this right here so we can see it. What else we got? We have a copy of Sword, which you'll recall does 3d6 res to black ice and 2d6 to non-black ice. Not bad. Not nearly as impressive as when we first started. Now, just to set the scene, last time we went to infiltrate the Kimengumi security office in Old Japantown, and we did it very foolishly. Hound cased the place very not subtly and got into a scuffle with some guards, and she got shot. But we managed to defeat the guards, that is Driver, Obsidian, Final, and Hound. We all got to defeat the guards, killed them, and hid their bodies. While then we infiltrated the place, found the biometric data on the top officials, and brought it back to the fixer, Willy Maze. Not the most strategic, but they did it. And Hound pulled through despite being shot and convinced Willy Maze to offer the party more. Instead of the 500 EB job that it was, it became 1,000, which was clutch. But new day means new problems. And let's start by making a new beat here. So as with all things, we'll start in the morning. These beats can be conversational. They don't have to be completely action-packed, and we can go through them. Driver does not like Willy Maze. Willy Maze is a fixer for Obsidian who does a lot of net running based jobs, and Driver is getting antsy and wishes to deal with some more, work that deals with more his specialty, which is driving. And unfortunately, we do have to talk to Willy Maze. Willy Maze is a fixer. He knows things. So let's find a location here, because I've made reference to a restaurant that we've eaten at. A very crappy, horrible restaurant. And I want to see if we don't have a name for this thing to flesh out the details of our world. The burger joint is like any other. Why don't we just take a page out of Cyberpunk 2077 and call it Gramsci Burger? So we find ourselves at Gramsci Burger, looking for information on a different kind of fixer for a different kind of work, something more along the lines of nomadic. So this will be a social check, and I think it's 3 checks. It's a simple check. He either knows what he knows, or we have to go put our ear to the ground and send word out. So for this first check, let's talk to Willy Maze. As we're there, Driver, Obsidian, and Final. There's just the 3 of us this time. Obsidian introduces us, gets us in. We all order a sludgy, greasy burger of some kind, that does not look healthy to eat, and that looks like it needs a cybernetic stomach to withstand. And we ask for work. Persuasion is going to be our skill of the day. A total of 10 bonus to our D10 roll. Why don't we give that a big old start and see what we can do? I would say it's a difficult task as a DV. So 15? 15 seems good. And this is using persuasion to try and convince Willy Maze to give up some rumors or names of any work that might be a little bit more aligned to what Driver's looking for. Let's roll our D10. 3, so 13 doesn't quite do it. Willy Maze is not one to easily give information like this, especially when it can benefit him. So because Driver did not do very well in his role, he's getting the runaround. Obsidian is interested in trying to help out. He's curious about what's going on. A little less invested in this. He's a net runner, right? He doesn't really care, but he'll help out. And conversation, it's, not going to be... Let's see, will conversation even help? He would need to roll a 10 on conversation to actually even be able to do anything. Obsidian's going to use slang, street slang, and try and come up with some sort of, way to convince him, hey, man, be a choom thing. But more so, Obsidian and Willy Maze have a similar... They come from similar places, run in similar crowds. They haven't... if this were an old school D&D game, this would be an alignment language. They have a very similar way of talking to each other with slang, and that's kind of how we're going to use this, which is a +9, which we would need to get a 6 or above to pass this check. That's a 1. So, 10. Another fail. Last check is going to be final. She has had enough of Willy Maze's baloney and is going to use her interrogation skill, which in the abstract of this, she's going to use some tactics from it to get in Willy Maze's face, slam her fists on the table, get halfway up, lean into his nose, nose to nose, glare, growl, just offer up the most aggressive version of herself possible. Now, Final isn't some prim and proper social elite. She's not an exec, mind you. She's a solo. She kills. Killing is her job, her hobby, her passions. Foul breath, bad hair, greasy face, unwashed, in his face. Maybe this will do something. Interrogation, which gives us a total of 11 to add to our D10 roll. So we have a little bit more to work with here. Let's see if this works. 5. So that's 16, which means we succeed. Ending our beat, Willy Maze caves in. All right. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for pulling your boot. I'm just having myself a little bit of fun. And he gives a name. And that name, which, again, we don't really have to roll for it because we're working from here, and there is one nomadic fixer. All right, so normally we'd roll, but here's the thing, guys. We have a noted nomad fixer in Night City named Wood Chipper. Wood Chipper is notable enough to be in this table. So a good lead. Driver is definitely very interested in that. All right, that beat is over. So I believe for the beat chart we have cliffhangers and developments our thing. So let's go with that. Roll a d6. If it comes with odds, go to cliffhangers. Evens, go to developments. Driver's going to make that roll. Evens, nice. Developments. What is a development that happens after our beat? As we we have our information. We know Wood Chipper is a fixer. We are given the details on where to go, which means we just have a development. Do this here. Make sure we're active in the screen. 98. A warning. We're at Gramsci Burgers. We go through this whole mess. We've drawn some attention to ourselves in interrogating Willy Maze for job. And he gives us one. And so, on our way out, I imagine that's when a warning hits us. Here's what we're going to do. See the rolls? I wonder what kind of roll is going to give us this warning. Someone is going to warn us about something. Who could that be? That would be a D10. Let's find out. That would be a 10. A tech, huh? So another D10 to roll who this could be. 4. Faisal Farah. Interesting. Let's write this down. What is it? Faisal Farah. We start to walk towards the door, leaving Gramsci Burgers and chilling nearby on one of the stools where a bouncer might be, but just kind of resting with their back to the wall. We see this Faisal Farah, and they just say under their breath as we walk out, "Never trust wood chipper," and we go our way. So with that in mind, we have a new beat. To figure out when or how long it takes us to get there, why don't we get a sense of where wood chipper might be? We're going to need to roll on some details here. So let's deal with that. So wood chipper cannot be trusted, is what's told to us. All right, here we go. Night City districts. Where were we told? In this D100, we were told to go to 31. Let's go to number 31, North Haywood. All right. North Haywood sees us right about here. If you remember, we were somewhere kind of like down here with our cargo containers. And so we've been generally somewhere around here. That's kind of our base of operations. So North Haywood is where we're headed. And probably street and combat zone. $50. A gang checkpoint. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because this strikes me as something that's a little bit more not so as established as like a tiger claws or anything like that. We're gonna roll this again. 44. A food cart cluster. Sure, why not? A food cart cluster. All right, we'll say it's 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., we find a food cart cluster. The location that Willy Maze gave to us wasn't very specific. It was just like, it was specific enough to find this cluster of food carts, but it did mention that it is a generalized location, a location of hanging out at the food cart cluster, which I'm imagining is a little bit like a farmer's market, if you will, a Night City version of a farmer's market. And as they're congregated around, you see some illicit things at some of the food stalls, hidden by sales of food things. There's not a lot of community that you might think. There's a lot of gangers and mooks chilling about, a few straggling nomaders and things to that nature. And at first blush, if you're a lawman passing by, I think it passes muster as some sort of farmer's market. Solo's like, holy darn, this is a dangerous place. And we navigate through the thicket of stalls and carts, and we find our guy. We find Wood Chipper. And Wood Chipper is a burly, stern sort of fella. Imagine, if you will, Burt Reynolds didn't have his like more thin and muscular physique, and this was a larger fella, a bigger biker guy. Not overweight, but cushiony. This guy has some mass to him, mass in muscle, mass in girth and gut, and tattoos galore. This guy is an interesting nomad. He's one of those few that Driver can relate to, in that he is a bit isolated. We quickly find a lot of these people around here have a tattoo on them. Driver clocks these tattoos of a cracked log. And so, while it doesn't strike that this might be a nomad family, because, like, what kind of family would have that? It seems like this is a developing, found nomadic family in Haywood, kind of establishing itself. It's in the beginning throes of this. Let's see how it plays out. We go to talk to him, and Driver steps forward and makes his introductions, expresses that Willy Maze was the one who pointed him out to us, that they're looking for work and heard that someone by the name of Woodchipper would have some work that involves his skills. I don't think any checks are necessary for this. This is introduction, and you kind of take what you can get. But let's see what Woodchipper offers. And I think he's offering a 500 euro buck job. Not impressive by any stretch, but also just something he claims to be simple. And that is go to a lot and pick up a car. Now, we gotta be specific about this. So we're gonna refer to land vehicles. I believe that Woodchipper wants a compact ground car. And there is some confusion from both Solo and Driver in that, like, why do we want to do that for you? What is so special about a particular car like this? And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's none of their business. Or at least that's what Woodchipper says. So now we have ourselves a kind of a bit of thing to figure out. Like, do we do this job? I think we do. The job as written is go to place, get car. We need to figure out where we're going. Before we write stuff down, we're picking up a car. It strikes me that because he's a nomad, and he's a nomad fixer, that outskirts are probably going to be our thing. So let's just decide that. Because what would he want? What would he want in these other areas? I don't think that's Woodchipper's interest. So D100, 38, Ghost Town. Oh, fascinating. If we're in the Haywood Docks area over here, then we should go, or was that North Haywood? I think it was North Haywood. Okay, if we're around here, you know what? Somewhere around this Laguna Reservoir, there's probably an old chop shop lot somewhere, or a place where cars just go and get lost. Somewhere near the Laguna Reserve. We're going to have to cut back through here, figure out a means to get over there. And that's going to take us a little while because we also do not really have ourselves any means of travel. But Driver is going to ask. And I think this may be one check as a sort of persuasion. Anything to get to the place. Maybe to speed up the process. He's going to ask for, hey, you got a few road bikes there. What do you say you toss to our way for the journey? 16. No. No is the definitive answer from Woodchipper. He's like, I want to see your ingenuity. And off we go. Let's finish this beat here. Even. So a development. What is our development? Advantage revealed. Let's look it up. I'm not sure what advantage revealed means, but maybe we can come up with a new way to some sort of benefit for us. So it's an advantage that's previously unknown, becomes known, things like that. So, you know what? Okay. When Driver tries to persuade Woodchipper to give them a temporary ride, maybe a couple road bikes or another car, some tool to get them to their destination faster, Woodchipper initially says no, but then one of his cronies, Woodchipper's cronies, mentions we could just have one of them stay with us as a collateral on the vehicle if you want to give a Roadbike to driver and final, and they can go do the job. And at the end of things, if the job is done, the vehicle comes back in one piece, Obsidian will be fine. Otherwise, problems. Obsidian is like, wait, what? What do you mean? Final's like, sure. And driver's like, wait a minute. And Final gives him a look, and it's decided. So, there we are. So Obsidian will stay, much to his protestations, but Wood Chipper seems nice enough. He mentions, we will keep good care of him, of course. There's food here, and just, we'll be chill. Everyone's chill. Are you chill? And Final's like, as rain used to be. And we move on. So Final and Driver are given a road bike. Now, we need to remove Obsidian from our play for a little bit. And Final and Driver. Driver takes the wheel. We can generally assume in this kind of more abstracted thing that there doesn't need to be like granular checks to make it there. This just saves them good time. Now, I'm going to use in this in between just a general land vehicle check, which is 17. 26. Yeah, we're going to probably get there pretty fast. But I want to look at the nomadic ability for 1 second. Just making sure that there isn't something I'm missing from the ranks of the Moto. So, family motor pool. Oh, okay. So our check was technically bigger. So with that, what was it? The 9 and 17 is 26. So then 26 plus 4, so 30. Our land vehicle check was 30. So from the family motor pool, we haven't really keyed into this, which I think we may need to. Let's make a note of this, because here is the problem. We technically have access to a family motor pool, but we're not on good terms with the family. So we're going to make ourselves a quick note, because this is a plot hook for later. All right, so a note for ourselves, because we have access to a vehicle. We have this problem that we have is purely of driver's own issues. So he's in Night City as a nomad. He is not declaring much in the way of a family affiliation. He is not speaking to it. And Final knows a little bit about it, but she knows better than to push it. And so with Obsidian as collateral, Driver takes the road bike, Final gets on behind him, and off they go. And with his skill check, I think the search around the, to arrive to the general area, I think would take maybe about an hour. We get to the lake area, and I think it's worthwhile that with our vehicle handling, Driver's pretty adept at this, can get around, can navigate fast, and the road bike, is a little bit difficult once you start getting out of town a little bit. You're hitting tougher patches and need some better control, but his 30 is what gives us the good time. Now, it doesn't really get us to the place. When Wood Chipper asked for the vehicle, he gave a sort of a VIN number, a little identification number on a slip of paper. Nothing technical. He seemed to be doing a lot of things analog. So there's a few different lots. So across the board, I think in this beat, I'm envisioning this to be 5 checks. So the average, I'm thinking this would be a 5 check situation. But it says in the single player mode that you can end that early if things go well. So let's play it out. So driving the land vehicle, I don't think is the situation here. That's not the problem. I think that 30, he's a nomad. This is his territory behind the wheel of a land vehicle. So we're going to stick with that. Like that, we don't have to make that as a check. But I do think that we're in an average check. This isn't that easy. So first, we're going to do just a basic strafing around basic areas. And as a part of that, both Driver and Final are going to do perception checks first. We're going to get that check 1, check 2 for each one, huh? So perception for driver is 16. And final is 13. 16 and 13. And since I thought this was a fairly average, I would call it maybe difficult. Because we're going back to that difficulty value situation. The DV is a larger range than just your typical D&D sort of thing. But I think it's a difficult thing, meaning that a driver does well and a final does not. She's not noticing anything in her check to find a place, but on sort of a perceptive hunch, driver does find it. He finds a lot that looks pretty likely and goes in to check it out. This B is needing to find the car. We've found the car, and we have a couple extra checks in this. So it's probably worthwhile to now investigate the cars. So what do we have here? Tracking. Let's use driver's tracking skill. So we're going to do a check 3. Let's see what happens. So 16. Once again, I'm just assuming this is a straight difficult. Driver just passes. And we find the car. Now, I think we've found the car, and I don't think there's anything else worth doing other than looking in there. I will say, though, final is a little suspicious here. And I don't like it, she says. And driver's like, I know. That random person at the door at Gramsci Burger told us not to trust wood chipper. So we should keep our head on a swivel. Now, I have an inkling of what's going on. And to be honest, we could roll for these. And it's worthwhile to take a look to see what kind of chances we can have. This is one of those situations where you use a single player mode, and it's use single player mode and its tables to help you in times of question or uncertainty or things you want to leave to chance. But wood chipper's not a very nice person. I think it is an ambush, which will pop off. So we'll need to do combat, and we're going to do the abstracted combat thing. Let's set that up real quick. Who shows up to this? Compact ground car ambush. 3 road gangers who come to bear and start a shooting. We need a tactics check. An edge runner is hardened when they meet any of the criteria. Do our people have refs of 8? 7 for driver when they meet any of the following criteria. Then evasion skill of 6 or higher. Ability to attack with stat skill mod 15 or higher. Bear with me as I'm all over the place here. Arm 15. Where's our guns? Handgun 12. Auto fire or martial arts. Technically final is a hardened mook. Or sorry, she's a hardened edge runner, which we did not know that. I did not know that rule. That changes things for us. So pick the edge runner who is going to make the check. Tactics versus the enemy. We all arbitrate that. So just on the dice, final rolled more, but let's take the look at the modifiers. Her tactics check is 13, so that is 22. It doesn't work in the favor of our combatants, our enemy combatants here. So while there's one more enemy than people on our side, we might be in luck. Let's roll our attacks. We're going to start with our heroes and make their attacks. Hopefully these are useful and good. Let's grab our sheets out. We've got handgun, but we're going to use our very heavy pistol. Well, let's roll them, and then we'll get our results. So, driver has 2, 8, 1, 6. So, for handgun, our first attack will be, I'm looking here at the 11, pardon my math, it's the morning. 2 11s with 13. 13? I did that in pen. I've been doing this in pencil. Second one. Second one is 12. Final, that would be 20 and 18. So 13, 12, 20, 18. The mooks get... Let's roll these out. Because they just have your basic situation here. Their weapons are a light melee weapon, very heavy pistol. It's a shootout. Shootout, shootout, shootout. They're all using guns. That's not so exciting. You know what? Maybe one of them... We'll divide it. One uses a crossbow and two use the very heavy pistol. So let's roll it out. 5. 7. 3. Okay, 5, 7, and 3, which means that what is their skill here? So the archery was 10, so that's 13. Where's our guns? Guns. I can't see it. 10. So 17, 15. Interesting. Okay. I am a bit nervous, to be honest with you. Let's calculate these out. So in this abstracted combat, we've got final 20, final 18, driver 13, 12, road 17, 15, 13. Meaning we have a winner, and we have a winner. Like, our guys win. But I have to double check what the tie does. If I recall, tie goes to the defender. So we win that. We all win that combat. Here's how that's going to look. In the fight, gunshots go by. We have to mark down our ammo here. Final uses her assault rifle. And driver uses a very heavy pistol. They've been trained enough. Given that we had Final felt wrong about this. What probably happened is she got there. This is too quiet. This seems too easy. And gets her gun to bear. Driver also has a sense of these things. These two have worked together before. They were ex-lovers. And so they have a rapport. And so they're ready. And as 3 gangers come in, it's supposed to be just a quick, there's 3 of us, there's 2 of you, blam blam. They did not factor in that one of them was a solo. And yeah, as the dust settles, these guys are dead. Final moves them around. And that's the end of this beat. We get into the car. And Final mentions that she'll take the motorbike back and driver can take the car. And so they make their way back. With the 2 of them in tow, trying to drive a little carefully. Let's make this new beat 11:30. So by 11:30, we get back. Return to Woodchipper. And unfortunately, we have to roll for a possible complication here. Just a development. Interesting. Okay. We get there. Obsidian has returned to us. And everyone's a little not happy about things. Driver is pretty pissed. Final is a little bit more indifferent. Driver makes to like that hot-headed move, like, okay, you put us in danger. He's gonna draw his gun, but Final holds him back. And what do we have on the development here? 94. Vengeance. What does vengeance mean? One member of the crew becomes a target of the opposition's vengeance. I think Woodchipper's not so happy. Woodchipper mentions that the scales will be balanced someday. There's too many people in this food cart area to make a scene. So he lets them go. He'll pay them their 500 EB, and that's that. Let's take a look at how we're going to grade this. This was pretty straightforward, not very difficult, but it did cement that Woodchipper is not exactly to be trusted. There's issues there. I think Driver and Final did perfect in this. I think they showed strong cooperative skill, but no stellar movements. So I think Ultimately, they get 40 IP. Sorry, 40 IP for the two of them. No. I mean, effectively, Obsidian was a hostage. He played his role well and didn't cause mischief. They didn't kill him. Everyone got out scot-free, so 40 IP seems great across the board. The only person who doesn't is Hound. So she'll take another few days to heal. I think that's it. We've done it. Our guys return back to their cargo compartments and decompress. Driver's not exactly happy what happened. And I think he has decided he needs to talk to his family. We will establish more of that next time, I think, provided that we have a development here of vengeance and wood chipper's gunning for driver now. So that's not good. So hopefully that doesn't come to be a problem. Our folks have survived. It hasn't been too difficult so far. But the longer these things take, the more escalation is in place. And the more jobs we need, we'll probably need more serious jobs, better jobs with bigger stakes. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, this is a smaller mission, a lighter mission as I get fully recovered. Anyways, be cool, my chooms.